30 years ago or more, I took a couple of Kabbalah classes with Aryeh Kaplan, wonderful man, accomplished, genius. I had to travel by subway for about an hour and a half to get out to his house where the lessons were. And I was an hour early for the class. So I'm sitting there, and he's sitting there with me and like looking at each other for a while. And he said to me after about 20 minutes, after I told him I was a tennis pro and he'd never met a tennis pro before, this and that. And we talked about, he asked me what was my favorite writing of his, and I said something about, he wrote a piece about the mikveh. Oh, he loved that. He said to me, do you have any questions? And I asked him this one question, Rabbi, what's higher, numbers or letters? And he looked at me for a good 30 seconds, and he says, numbers. That's all it was. Quite frankly, I didn't think about it much for a few years. This is 30 years ago or more. And here I am doing a short video on the hierarchies, and the numbers are higher than letters, and it's only today that I figure out why. Yes, I know that numbers come from the Etziliut world, and letters come from the Bria world. Or one might say that letters come from, that numbers come from Chochmah, and letters come from Bina. But you know, there's always been a one-to-one correspondence between letters and numbers. In all types of gematria, the Aleph is the 1, the Bet is the 2. If you have ordinal, the ordinal numbers, the placement of the letters in the alphabet, if you do it like Kaf is 11. But there's always a one-to-one correspondence between letters and numbers. And then something just came to me yesterday. The number Ephes, 0. 0 has no letter attached to it. The number 0 has no letter, and that's what proves that numbers are higher than letters, that there isn't a one-to-one correspondence between numbers and letters. The letters start at Aleph as 1, but what's the number 0? The Ephes. Torah always talks about Echad. Even Echad as a unity is 1, but it's almost 1 as part of 3, like the kind of marks that go into making the Aleph, the Yud on top, the Yud on the bottom, and the Vav in the middle. So the number 1 is a unity. But Ephes, 0. Then I'm thinking that 0 is like a samech. It's like a circle. Even though the Samech is the 15th letter and it's the number 60 and it's spelt out to 120, the Samech has a zero sensibility to it, a circle. The Fs, the zero, is a circle. And then I'm thinking about the one itself, the Aleph. And then I'm thinking 1 and 0, Aleph and Samech, the Tarakan of Rashi Tivo, Ein Sof. Ein Sof is the 0. Ein Sof is the concept of zero, of infinity, of the circling around the circle. Ein Sof. And a weird thing about the word Fs is that Fs, spelt Aleph, Pei, Samach, are the same Roshei Tivo as they express Aleph, Samech, and then a final Pei as Ein Sof. So Fs and Ein Sof are the same letters rearranged. Obviously, the circle connotates the zero and the infinity, because one always goes around in a perpetual drive in that extremity of the circle. And this circle is also an infinite thing because the internal contains everything. But the Ein Sof is the zero. The zero has no letter attached. It's beyond letter. And then how we get to the mystical approach, the Hasidic approach, the concept of how it is a Sufism, a Sufi approach. The concept that the human being should strive for Ein Sof, not to be Echad of the Ein Sof, but the Fs. Be zero when you are nothing. You are everything. Have no attachment and be totally attached. Be before number, not before number. Be before letters. The first number, zero. When you are zero, you are closest to our recognition of godliness, of God Himself. The unseen, the unheard, the unable to be manifested or touched. The essence level of everything, the etzmus level, the zero, beyond number, beyond any identity. It's this and more. Yes, this, but more than this. So this isn't much different from the changing the ani into the ayin, the I into the nothing. The idea of unity into the Fs. the predicate, beyond everything, beyond the concept of numbers, of counting numbers. When you're born, you're zero. In Chinese philosophy, you're one when you're born, because you actually started 280 days before in the womb, and in the essence of the sperm was formulated 72 days before that, 352 days, 355 days in the year. Your conception from the father's original orientation is 1 year. You're zero when you start from the father's seed. Start forming in the father's mochim. Zero. A return to essence is a return to zero, and then see how you feel. See how this amazing predicate changes your whole perception of self and non-self. Beyond letter and its parallels in number lies zero as an Adam Kadmon world, a Keter of an Ein Sof. The closest I can tell you to be an Ein Sof is to be the number zero, Ephes. This is a whole way of life that's predicated on these few minutes of explanation of zero. Most people don't know zero is a number. People think zero is a lack of a number, but the number systems count from zero. If you have this imagination that you're one, that God is one, then you'll start counting from the Aleph as one. But if you're zero, then you'll start from the Aleph and Samech together, the one and the Samech together, as a grouping of one and zero, which is no different than the binary thing of how this computer here is structured and formed. The one without the zero is an egotistical thing. I'm nothing. I'm zero. By losing all, I've gained all. Think of yourself as zero, and let me know how you feel and what happens in your life.